5 seconds. KARK 4 News. Now in high definition. Sponsored by your Central Arkansas Ford dealers. Now, your forecast first from KARK 4, your weather authority.
The terrible Texas heat is back, and even if you didn't notice it today, you're certainly going to notice it tomorrow. In the meantime, temperatures dropping to around 60 degrees by tomorrow morning. High temperatures tomorrow afternoon, possibly approaching 90. And if we don't get there tomorrow, we certainly could Thursday. We'll tell you about that coming up. The news at 4, at your KARK 4 News at 6 starts now.
Coming up, why losing $1 million a month could cause the wheels of Arkansas justice to grind to a halt. Next, the latest in a murder in which the primary suspect is dead. Plus,
I think it's like the best thing that ever happened to me. If I'd never been here, who knows what I'd be doing.
Lawmakers and state officials tour a youth treatment facility that offers troubled teens a new lease on life.
Now, from the station you count on. In-depth investigative coverage of today's biggest stories. This is KARK 4 News at 6 in high definition.
Good evening to you, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jessica Dean.
Hello, good evening. I'm Bob Clausen. Melissa has the evening off. A multi-million-dollar cash crunch hits the state's judicial system. According to Disaster, the Arkansas Justice Fund is running out of money and won't be able to make payroll past October. KARK4's Adam Rodriguez takes a look at what the problem is and who would be affected in this KARK investigation that's due at 6.
Yeah, and Bob, it turns out that the Justice Fund gets its money from fees, court fees, traffic tickets to felonies, anything that you can appear in court for. At one point, it had $18 million in the fund, but not anymore.
Judges don't go on the record very often, but Judge Joyce Warren made some time for us this afternoon to talk about the shrinking Justice Fund.
It affects the operation of the courts and people who are essential to the running of the court.
Warren is president of the Arkansas Judicial Council, the group that's trying to figure out what's going on. How dire is the situation you're facing right now?
Very dire. It impacts the running of the courts. We're talking about case coordinators, trial court assistants, public defenders, certain programs that affect the courts.
Last week, the Director of State Finance sent this letter to the administrator of Arkansas Circuit Courts, saying the Justice Fund was down to $3.2 million, enough to last 2 months. After that, the Justice Fund has to cut its budget by 18% to stay afloat. Besides court reporters and assistants, the Justice Fund pays for state police and judge retirement funds, drug and alcohol prevention programs, and victim reparations.
What kind of cost-cutting measures would you anticipate or could you be taking?
I do not know. We're looking, other states have done things such as furloughs, and they have some avenues that we can take, and we're going to explore all those possibilities when we get to the meeting Friday.
And hopefully, Warren says, find out how the fund ran out of money so this doesn't happen again.
And the Judicial Council is actually holding a special meeting on Friday to discuss how they're going to get themselves out of the hole in this situation, how they're going to make that 18% cut recommended by the state. Now, they're talking about maybe furloughs in the short term and maybe some kind of legislative reform in the long term, but that, of course, wouldn't happen until January. But it would keep that Justice Fund hopefully permanently in the green. Reporting live in Little Rock, Adam Rodriguez, KARK 4 News.
Adam, the Justice Council understandably seems anxious to get this thing fixed. Has it ever had to deal with this kind of money problem before?
Yeah, I asked Judge Warren about that, and she says she never recalls having this had happened before. And for that reason, it's very unpredictable. It's the unknown. And that's why they're not sure, one, how it occurred, and two, how to deal with it. They're hoping everyone comes with their ideas on Friday, so maybe they can talk this thing out and figure out the best thing to do. Bob?
Yeah, fix it and then do their best to make sure it never happens again, madam.
Right. A solution that works.
Adam Rodriguez reporting live tonight. Thanks very much.
For the first time, the family of a woman murdered in her home speaking out. Alicia Mays was found by her sister at the Lynx apartment in Sherwood on Sunday, but the case took a bizarre twist. Her suspected killer now also dead. KARK4's Lauren Traeger joins us now with all the details in this story. Lauren?
Well, this certainly is shock to Mays' family, who were looking for answers about her death, but they decided to speak out now, not to remember her as a victim, but for the loving person that she was. Known to her family as Lisa Mays, loved Chinese food and gospel music, was a devoted mother, soon-to-be grandmother, daughter, sister, and friend. But after her death, Police quickly suspected her boyfriend, Robert Romes, in her killing. Now, they didn't, though, get a chance to question him before Romes was badly injured in a one-car accident on I-440 Sunday. Monday, Romes died from his injuries in that wreck. Frustrating, police say, since he was the only suspect. Now, legal closure could be a bit harder to come by, but Mays' family trying to put away any anger. Instead, they say they just want to remember the Lisa they loved.
She's a victim in this situation, but she was a person, and she touched a lot of lives. She touched a lot of lives. She doesn't even realize the number of lives that she touched.
Now, Mays' family acknowledges that they aren't the only ones dealing with this tragedy now. State police are still investigating Romes' accident to see exactly how he crashed. We were unable to contact any of his family today for comment. The case is still being investigated. Back to you.
All right, Lauren, thanks very much. Post office workers rallying to save their jobs. The rally targeted the office of Republican U.S. Representative Tim Griffin in light of fast approaching cutbacks in the Postal Service. These workers joined with others around the nation and elsewhere in the state today. They hope to send a message that cutting jobs isn't the answer to solving the nation's budget crisis. Demonstrations come as Congress looks to close thousands of post offices around the country, including some here in Arkansas, that will leave more than 100,000 workers without a job.
The Arkansas River Revival ready to set sail. A flotilla of yachts, cruisers, and houseboats will be touring the river from Fort Smith to Pendleton coming up in October. The purpose? To highlight economic opportunities along the water, and those include deepening the river's channel from 9 feet to 12 feet, increasing barge traffic, furthering water-based recreational activities, redeveloping and improving ports, enhancing and creating new recreational facilities along the river, and supporting local marinas, city festivals, and events. Monty McMulty with the Arkansas Hospitality Association says it's all about harnessing the river's economic power.
Billions of dollars flow because of commerce on the river, and it's a potential job generator for Arkansas.
17 privately owned watercraft will be making that trip.
It is a crucial post for Arkansas and for Arkansans for that matter. And today, Governor Mike Beebe names an interim director for the Economic Development Commission. Mr. Beebe's Deputy Chief of Staff, 42-year-old Grant Tennille, will fill the role temporarily. Tennille joined the Beebe administration in fall of 2007. He has been the Economic Development Issue Liaison for the past 15 months, and he was also part of the Arkansas Economic Development delegation that visited Europe in 2009.
Nearly 300 Arkansas kids will spend tonight at one of the state's several juvenile treatment centers and correctional facilities. And today, lawmakers toured one of those centers. It's the Arkansas Juvenile Assessment and Treatment Center located at 1501 Woody Drive in Bryant. The center just opened a brand new $5 million education building for its nearly 100 students, paid for with stimulus money. The school serves up its education to a unique type of student. All of them are sent to the center by juvenile court judges, and each student lives at the center and brings with them their own set of issues, some of them behavioral, others psychological.
A lot of these kids have not gone to school in two or 3 years. Some of them have parental issues that they've lacked someone to guide them in their life, and this is a chance to get them on the right track and hopefully save them and make them a productive citizen.
Lawmakers toured the new building today, 5 years after another visit in which one lawmaker described the conditions as deplorable. While lawmakers acknowledged much had been improved, they were still concerned about an audit which showed dozens of problems across the state's 8 facilities. Some legislators also expressed concern over a lack of academic assessment for the students. A legislative report on that issue will be presented in January.
Hey, if you're doing the autumn version of a clean sweep or perhaps spring cleaning, it's time to get your clutter in order, you could say. You can recycle your old electronics at Verizon Arena in North Little Rock. That starts bright and early Wednesday and Thursday mornings, all day long, from 8 a.m. and through 3 p.m. Most electronics will be accepted, like old TV sets, computers, VCRs, and radios, things like that. Certain electronic items are not accepted. You can go to our website, arkansasmatters.com. There you will find a list of things that are accepted and things that are not.
An organization helping disabled kids and adults celebrating 10 years today. Take a look. Here's something you don't see often. A horse in a birthday hat nibbling on a little carrot cake there. It was just part of the festivities at the Hearts and Hooves Ranch in Sherwood today. And the riders there build skills like balance, flexibility, and self-esteem. It's been a miracle worker for 40-year-old Chris Webster. He's diagnosed with cerebral palsy and he's wheelchair bound. But on his horse, as you see there, he has his freedom.
Coming up, we honor those who have paid the high cost of American freedom.
I'm Jason Snavely. Coming up in sports, after suffering their first loss of the season, this week the Razorbacks gear up to take on the newest addition to the SEC. Here at the Hogs, think of their new conference foes, Texas A&M, next.
And would you believe it? The 85 degrees we saw this afternoon was actually above average. Well, we could have a lot more of that in the forecast. We'll tell you if we'll make it to 90. That's coming up. Here's a look at your almanac. Stay with us.